Hello. We're coming towards the end of our first week, and I'm concerned that some students have not really started or moved on in what needs to be accomplished during our first week. So I want to point out just a few things, and hopefully it will help people um, get through their first week's assignments, readings, lessons, anything you need to do to finish week one, chapter one. We're using Brightspace, so let's take a look. First of all, if you scroll down about 2 or 3 days after the week started, I actually posted a little, almost like a little memo, summarizing what needed to be done in order to complete everything in week one. And week one's busy because everything is just getting started. You have all the getting started information. You need to review the syllabus. Hopefully you printed it. Well, you did that. We're going to take a look at the weekly schedule in just a minute. Hopefully you have your book or your ebook and have taken your getting started quiz. But we still have all of our week's work for chapter one, which is one of the 3 chapters in unit one. Each week, there's actually 15 chapters in the textbook. We have 15 weeks in the semester. So we're going to be doing 1 chapter a week. And what this hopefully will do is keep you on target and completing what needs to be done each week. You do not want to fall behind. So even if you don't have your book during these first 2 weeks, if you're waiting for its delivery, there are things you can do and you can actually complete the homework and the assignments and any quizzes that are required for the week one. Let's go to top here. And first, let me point out in Brightspace, there are actually 2 scroll bars. From this page, we can look at our course home, which is where announcements are. Content is where we're going to begin going in and doing and finding the actual work that needs to be done. Assignments is the work that you do after you do the lessons and the readings. Discussions, there will be 1 discussion for each of the units, and there are 5 units. And when you do your discussion, you make a post, your original post, and you respond to one of your classmates' posts. And then there's quizzes, which are the testing area. Quizzes, tests, that's all under there. So let's go to content. Before we get started, if you're not familiar with Brightspace, there's also a side scroll bar. Some of this you should have already done as you were doing getting started. There's the syllabus. There's the weekly calendar. That's where you can actually see which week you're in, what's being covered. So that's important. And the next thing on the scroll bar, here's the link to your frequently used medical terms. You'll be using this link to the terms each week, because each week there's a different group of terms related to your chapter. Now, to do those terms and define them, you'll find you can use the glossary at the end of the book. You can Google the medical terms for your definition, or if you had a medical dictionary, you can look up the answer to the definitions. So you're sure what all is over here. There's also a link to the medical term spelling worksheet. For some reason, it is there. It must just not let me. I'm on as a learner, and it may not be shown in my copy. Let's move on, because what we want to do is actually go through content for this week. What we're doing is week one, unit one. Here it tells us what we're going to be doing as we complete all of unit one, which covers the first 3 weeks. Chapters 1 is week 1, chapter 2 is week 2, chapter 15 is week 3. Scroll down. Here are our reading for Unit 1, week 1, chapter 1. That's the best way to do this is to have your book and read that as you start your week's work. In chapter 1, it's pages 1 through 17, and I warn you, if you're using the ebook, sometimes the pagination is a little different. But it is kind of the guts of the text material, and it stops with where you start into all the exercises at the end of the chapter. Exercises at the end of the chapter are not all assigned. They're wonderful. They're great drill. They're great extra work. If you think they help you, you can go ahead and do them. And just point out that if you're doing them and you need check out the answers, they're available. Look at the side scroll bar. There's a link to answers. Okay. So let's look at what we must actually do. Okay. You're going to carefully review the APA citation and format information and then take the homework going, please. Under homework, assignments and translation on the sidebar, you can click on that chapter 1 spelling practice and submit your assignment. You can also reach assignments just from the top bar. Maybe it's easier just from up here in assignments. Under quizzes, and you're going to come back there. You're going to do the homework 1 quiz there, and you'll also do the chapter review quiz thing. So let's go over to, let's first go, to your lesson, chapter 1 lesson. Just keep scrolling down. This is where your 2 little videos are for actually beginning your study of both understanding medical terminology and correct APA citations and references. The tutorial for your discussions, for what the discussions you can be doing to. The Health Professions Department wants all students to use the APA format. Some students are familiar with it, others have heard of it or seen it before, so this helps you learn just how you do it. After you've finished your lessons and your readings for chapter 1, let's go up and let's look at assignments. And here's the homework 1 assignment. Okay. And this is your home where it was talking about the APA citations and references. So there again, tutorial links right here. And then when you're finished studying, what you want to do is go to homework 1 quiz, which is located either under the sidebar with test, midterm, final, or up here under quizzes. Our homework 1 quiz. And now this is not going to show me a start button because I'm not actually a student. You would see a start button here and you can take your quiz. All right, when you're finished with that, let's come back to our assignments because we want to finish up everything that we need to do with chapter 1. There's the chapter 1 spelling assignment. Yeah. Here's your link to that midterm list for Unit 1 by chapters. And there's the link to the midterm spelling sheet where you will actually fill out the medical term in this column and the definition over here. Again, you can go to the glossary, you can go to the medical dictionary, you can Google the term. And make sure you have it spelled correctly and your definition. And when you're finished, you actually want to come back to your assignment. And this is where you would submit your assignment. You can add the file. After you've saved it to your computer, you can add it here. Or if you want to paste it in here, you can paste it there, copy and paste it there. I would also suggest you print a copy of it. And then you can use that for drilling and studying because you want to learn the terms that are on that frequently used medical term list. That's important. They're the ones you're going to see in the lists. All right, so just cancel out that because it made me submit. Okay, then there's just another quiz we need to do to complete our week's work, and that's our chapter review quiz. And when you want the chapter review quizzes, come all the way down to the bottom of the list of quizzes. And there's our chapter review quiz. And again, I can't submit it or start it because I'm not actually a student. So, but that is where you would do it, take your quiz. The nice thing about the chapter review quiz is that you can take them as many times as you want. So make sure you get them perfect. In other words, if it's not right, make sure you get it perfect. If you're having trouble with it and you can't figure out you're missing something or you get one wrong, take a look. Let's go back here to our content, over to our sidebar, scroll all the way down because right here is a link to answers. Now, that's the textbook answers that I said you could use if you wanted to study more. But then all the chapter review answers are also here. Now you have to take it once and get at least half of them right, but then it will show you so that if you're missing one or two or three, it will show you just what the answers are. You have to take it at least once. So, okay, let's come back here and let's go back to our course home and take a look here at my little memo I sent you and see what did we need to do. Okay. We complete the homework 1 quiz. Yep. Did we complete the spelling assignment? Yep. Did we complete the chapter 1 review quiz? Yep, we did. The only other thing we should be doing and working on, because part of our lesson 2 under content, we look at our content here. Let's go back to our content for week 1. Okay. Here we did lesson 1. And now you're going to also do chapter 1, lesson 2. Now again, 2 other little videos and a sample of someone's post with a correct citation so you can see what it looks like. And then it wants you to start thinking about your discussion. And your discussion post and response to another student isn't due. It's not going to be due until next week, the end of next week. But you want to start thinking about it because you don't want to wind up next week at the end of the week saying, oh my gosh, I have to do the discussion. Think about it. Let's take a look at it. Let's go to discussions. And here we are, lesson 1, unit 1, lesson 2. We have our discussion. Here it tells you a little bit. Your original post should be a well-written paragraph or 2 that thoroughly explains, describes, or answers the topic that is given for the discussion. You need to include 2 or 3 supportive details and provide references and citations. You may use your textbook as one source of information, and you need to include another source of information, internet, article, a journal, a book, and provide correct references and citations. That's what you were learning about as you were watching these videos of the APA form for citations and evidence. Then after you post your discussion on it, and it needs to be a couple paragraphs of well-written paragraphs that are speaking to the topic that is given. Talk about in a second. Then you do your reply post. So you look at one of your classmates, and it's not good enough just to say, oh, great job. I really liked what you wrote. You need to read what they posted, what they talked about, and then give a little more additional information about that topic. And you need at least one reference for that information that you're supplying to their post. For Unit 1, the discussion topic is discuss why the correct spelling of medical terms is important. Give an example of a word spelled incorrectly and what potential harm could come from this mistake. You must complete the post and respond to another student to receive full credit. Okay, so that's what you need to do to complete the discussion. But again, it is not due until next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. You get an extra week to work. Course home. All right. I hope that helps. If you've kind of been fumbling around and not sure what all you need to do, that kind of covers what you're going to be doing. And you're going to be doing similar things each week. Each of the 15 weeks, you'll find that there is the book you need to read. There are lessons that you need to complete in content, under content. There are assignments, there are quizzes, there is your spelling sheet is always one of the assignments, and there is always the chapter review quiz. And in each of the 5 units, there will be a discussion. I will post that little reminder memo at midweek so that you always have kind of just a way to touch base before you finish up for the week and make sure you have included and submitted all of your work. Again, I warn you, you do not want to fall behind. You want to make sure that each week you thoroughly complete your work and submit all the work that is due, submit all the quizzes. I hope you all have a great semester. And again, I have heard from some of the students, but not all. They're just, only a few, really, only a few of them. Please send me an email from your email that you would like to use for the course. Again, I'm going to come down here because my email address is in this opening memo I sent. Send it to me at mgilbert@ccbcmd.edu because I'd like to make sure I have the email you want to use for our course. Also, I just want to point out again, I think I did this in the getting started. This little envelope that used to be messages that we would use in Brightspace no longer works. We must use email to communicate. I check it several times a day, especially because we're getting started. And again, please send me which email you want me to use when I'm corresponding with you. Thanks. Hope you have a great week finishing up your coursework. And look for my message next week about what to do for Chapter 2. Hope you have a great weekend.